Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 68 female, have one daughter, Rachel, 45 female, and one granddaughter, Lily, 18 female. Rachel was my only child. After two very traumatic miscarriages before her, I was told I might never carry to term again. So when she was born, she became the center of my world. I tried to raise her to be kind, grounded, and independent. But I will admit, especially after my husband passed when Rachel was 12, I became overprotective. She was the only part of him I had left. Maybe I overcompensated. Rachel grew up, got married, and unfortunately went through a similar struggle. She had multiple miscarriages over several painful years. The emotional toll was immense. I supported her through it as best I could. When she finally gave birth to Lily, she called her my miracle baby. And that's exactly how she treated her. From the moment Lily was born, Rachel spoiled her rotten. There were no limits. Lily never heard the word no. Designer baby clothes, extravagant birthday parties, playdates curated like royal events. Rachel hovered over every moment of her life, determined to protect her from disappointment, discomfort, or inconvenience. And Lily grew up absorbing all of that like a sponge. Don't get me wrong, Lily was bright, beautiful, and charming, but also entitled, dramatic, and frankly mean when things didn't go her way. She wasn't cruel all the time. She could be affectionate, sweet even. But she never learned gratitude. Everything was owed to her. If a toy didn't work perfectly, it was trash. If a present wasn't from the right brand, it was returned. And Rachel, she always backed her up. She's just picky. She knows what she likes. She deserves the best. I bit my tongue more times than I can count. As Lily got older, the gap between us widened. She always greeted me politely, but never with enthusiasm, never with genuine warmth. I was grandma when she needed something. I'm not rich. I worked as a librarian until retirement. I never remarried. I lived frugally, saved carefully, and put my heart into what I could give. My time, my love, and my hands. I taught myself to crochet in my 20s, and over the years made baby blankets, scarves, and toys for family members and friends. For Lily, I made her a birthday dress every year until she turned 12 and told me, flatly, I don't wear homemade stuff anymore. So I stopped offering. But I never stopped loving her. And I never stopped planning. Unbeknownst to anyone, not even Rachel, I had been putting aside money since Lily was born. Every birthday, every Christmas, every tax return, I quietly tucked something away. I invested it safely, and by her 18th birthday, I had saved $42,000, enough to make a real difference toward her college tuition. I planned to surprise her with a check at her graduation dinner. I even went to the bank and got a card printed with her name on it. I cried in the parking lot thinking of how excited she'd be. Now, back to the day that shattered all of it. Lily graduated high school 2 months ago. There was a ceremony, of course, followed by a dinner party Rachel organized at a high-end restaurant downtown. The invitation was beautiful. The dress code was cocktail chic. I spent 2 weeks crocheting a custom dress for Lily in her school colors, navy and cream. It was elegant, fitted, and fully lined with delicate work on the sleeves and hem. I even sewed in a tag with her name and the year stitched in gold thread. I wrapped it in a gift box, tied it with ribbon, and gave it to her at the pre-dinner gathering at Rachel's house, where everyone exchanged cards and flowers. Lily opened the box and pulled out the dress in front of her friends, Rachel, and several extended family members. She held it up, blinked, then laughed. Laughed. She said, "Wait, is this another homemade dress? I was expecting something more solid, Grandma." I felt my face go hot. I nodded. She said, "Oh, Grandma, that's sweet. But I'm not wearing that. It looks like something from Etsy in 2012. Someone chuckled. I don't even know who. Then she added, "You know we're going to Avalon after dinner, right? I can't show up looking like a craft fair." My heart dropped. I tried to smile. I said, "I thought maybe you'd wear it to the dinner. I used your school colors and… She cut me off. Yeah, no, I already have a dress, but thanks. She folded it haphazardly, shoved it back in the box, and put it behind her chair. I sat in stunned silence. No one said a word. Rachel looked a little uncomfortable, but didn't say anything to defend me. The moment passed, conversation resumed, and I excused myself to the bathroom and cried quietly for 5 minutes. But I didn't leave. I wiped my face, put on some lipstick, and went to dinner. I sat at the far end of the table while Lily played hostess. I watched her clink glasses with friends, take selfies, pose with her real dress in photos. And when the plates were cleared and everyone was waiting for dessert, I stood up. I said, I was planning to give Lily another gift tonight, something I've been saving up for her entire life. But after seeing how she reacted to the dress I made her with love and care, I've realized she may not value the kind of things I offer. So I've decided to keep it for now. Maybe use it to travel or donate it to someone who'd appreciate it. I hope that's understandable. Lily froze. Rachel hissed, Mom, what are you talking about? I said nothing else. I sat down. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I just couldn't pretend anymore, and all hell broke loose. Lily started crying, and said I had humiliated her on her special night, that I was jealous of her, that I always made things about me. Rachel demanded to know what the other gift was. I simply said, it doesn't matter now. That's when Rachel stormed out with Lily. Some guests followed them. Others stayed behind and tried to comfort me, but I left shortly after. Later that night, I received a flurry of angry texts. From Rachel, saying I was cruel and manipulative. From Lily, saying I embarrassed her in front of her entire graduating class and made her feel like a bad person just because she didn't like a dress. From my sister, saying I should have just given her the money quietly and dealt with the hurt in private. But I had planned to give it quietly, until I realized that, to her, I was nothing more than an embarrassing old woman with cheap gifts. It wasn't just the dress, it was years of being dismissed, overlooked, and patronized. That moment was the crack that broke everything open. So now, the money is still in my account. I've changed my will. I've decided to use part of it to fund a scholarship at the public library I used to work at. One for girls who love to create, write, build. Girls who get called cheap for using their hands. I still haven't spoken to Lily. She hasn't apologized. Rachel says I'm the one who owes her daughter an apology for ruining her graduation dinner. That Lily was just being honest, and that not everyone wants handmade stuff. Maybe she's right. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I let one moment of disrespect override years of family history. But maybe. I finally stood up for myself after years of being the quiet one, who gave, and asked for nothing in return. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my granddaughter the $42,000 college fund I had secretly saved for her after she publicly shamed the handmade dress I gave her for graduation? Not the a-hole. She called your dress cheap in front of her friends, shoved it aside, and made you feel invisible on purpose. And then you're the one accused of being cruel. Please. That wasn't a gift to her. It was a slap in the face to you. I don't blame you one bit for withholding the money. If she can't show basic respect, she doesn't deserve a dime. Yes, the a-hole, but just slightly. I totally understand being hurt by Lily's reaction, but holding a graduation dinner hostage to make a point about a secret gift. That's dramatic and arguably passive-aggressive. You could have taken her aside privately or even waited a few days. That moment became less about boundaries and more about revenge. She behaved poorly, but two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, the a-hole. I get it. Your feelings were hurt. Rightfully so. But ambushing your granddaughter at a celebratory dinner in front of family and friends, dropping a bomb about a secret gift, then yanking it away to prove a point. That wasn't about boundaries. That was about shame. Two wrongs don't make a right. You could have spoken to her privately, explained how deeply her reaction to the dress hurt you, and left the door open for growth. Instead, you made a grand gesture designed to wound. That makes you no better than the teenage girl who embarrassed you. So, for a little backstory, I currently am in my early 50s, living with my mom who's in her 80s, working 2 jobs, and being her caregiver. My sister, who's late 50s, who also works 2 jobs and taking care of a severely disabled husband. We are both trying to pay off student debt and living paycheck to paycheck. So this story is about my sister's daughter. My sister's daughter, let's call her Allie, is 34 years old and is currently 7 months pregnant. Now, she doesn't like to work, and she currently lives in her baby daddy's relative's tiny house community for cheap rent. And her baby daddy don't even pay for his first 2 kids by his 2 ex-wives. So, on to the situation. This past weekend was my niece Allie's baby shower, and we were having it at my sister's house, and we set up everything for her. So a lot of our side of the family was there, and the baby daddy family was there too. So the party was going on without a hitch. Then Allie, in the middle of the party, decided to make an announcement. She gives everyone in the family a piece of paper and a pen. She tells everyone on our family, including her baby daddy's family. She wants us to write all work schedules and how much we are willing to contribute to her monthly. That's when she announced that she wants to be a single stay-at-home mom for the first 5 years of her child's life. She wants all of us to support her monthly and be free babysitters according to our schedules. That's when we all found out she quit her job. To say that did not go off well in the family, especially her baby daddy's family, is an understatement. This caused a huge argument in my sister's house. My sister was so angry that she ended the party soon and kicked her daughter out of her house. Sister would not let her leave with the gifts, saying she's keeping them to pay for the party. My sister also found out that Allie expected to stay in the tiny house community for free. If not for free, we were going to pay her rent. So her baby daddy relative that owns the property is about to evict her. She's currently not speaking to any of us until we apologize and agree to her terms, or we all will not see the baby. Me and my family are choosing this hill to die on because we do not have the money to support her as a single mom for the first 5 years of the child's life. If evicted, she can't live with any of us because our houses are too small and barely can fit us. Allie is living on planet denial. Bloody hell! Make sure your sister deadbolts her house because I bet you that she will be there soon with the bag saying, "I have nowhere to go and I'm having your grandbaby, so you have to help us." I'm glad you're all making this your hill to die on. Otherwise, you'll both be supporting your niece and her child for the next 18 years. I hate to say this, but she needs to experience the full measure of the consequences of her entitlement. Get ready for urgent phone calls, unexpected visits, and endless streams of guilt tripping and manipulation. Stand firm in your resolve. Go no contact if you have to. Hopefully she realizes there's no gravy train, and this fantasy she's concocted for herself snaps back into reality. I had a pretty wild youth, and one of the women I slept with got pregnant. She didn't inform me about this, and I was oblivious of my biological son until about a year ago. He is 17 years old. I have since become a bit saner and am happily married for 14 years. She has a daughter from a previous relationship who is 18. They will both be going to college next year. We had talked about this when she was, and I had told her I would shortly chip in about $30K. Her grandparents from her dad's side are also willing to contribute money. Last year I told her that I may be able to contribute $40K, but it was not a guarantee. This is a lot of money, but it took me a long time to save it. My son has not enjoyed a comfortable upbringing. He has no support, and his mother is not in a financial position to pay for college. I want to contribute about $15K. We are running a pretty tight ship, and I don't think we can make any more cuts without it affecting our retirement and savings. I told my stepdaughter that I would only be able to contribute $30K. She was okay with it, before she found out we were also giving money to my son. She's very angry with me, and she's being distant, more than usual. The thing that I don't get is that it won't hurt her. Her grandparents are willing to make up the difference. She's going to have the same budget that she can plan to spend on college. I feel a bit like an a-hole as I am giving her the minimum amount possible, which I had agreed on. I wish I could do more, but I can't. I don't get why she is upset. I think I'm making the right decision here, but I know I have upset her and it is bothering me. My wife is not happy about it, but she is understanding. She's upset because you have another child taking your attention and money. It's irrational, but she will be upset and quietly jealous. This kid you don't know about is suddenly dropped into your family's laps, and this is the first of many big steps that's going to be affected by one more person in the mix. She's seeing you give the extra you told her you would try to do to her replacement. You are by no way the a-hole supporting all your kids, but talk to people first. Please stop having discussions with your kids about what you might be able to give them. Anything you say they might get, they will expect they will get, because you were trying your damnedest to get it for them. That's the kind of miracles parents can pull off. And she's seeing the future where your attention and money might continue to be split. You need to start talking to her. This isn't just money that's the issue. Her family has changed without any of her input, and this needs to be addressed, both with your daughter and with your wife, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You are being very generous to hand over that amount of cash, and she needs to realize you have other obligations too. Your son grew up most of his life without a father to support him, though no fault of your own as you were unaware of his existence. It's time your stepdaughter realizes it's not all about her anymore and is lucky to have financial support from so many people. Her lack of gratitude is shocking. As you said, her grandparents are making up the difference, so what is the problem? Not the a-hole. So your stepdaughter is upset that instead of getting $40K, she's getting $30K for college because of previous unknown obligation. Your biological son needs some help with college, and you're helping out with $15K, which is half of what she's getting. I think your wife, while not happy, but understanding, needs to have a serious conversation with your stepdaughter about entitlement. I, 34 male, have been living with my girlfriend, 32 female, Laura, for the past 3 years. One of her hobbies is cooking. Laura came from a multicultural family and would spend hours perfecting recipes. I absolutely adore her cooking, and she regularly hosts dinners for her family or our friends and gets a lot of praise for it. Laura cooked several times for my family as well, mainly at barbecue, and everyone loved her food as well. Recently, Laura volunteered to host dinner and introduce our families to each other properly. So she spent the day before shopping for ingredients and yesterday cooking. She prefers to be alone in the kitchen when she cooks, so I've set the table up and cleaned the apartment. Once the cooking was done, Laura set it aside to greet my family. She has asked my sister, female 38, Kate, to watch her children, as they were dangerously close to her unfinished paintings and looked like they were about to use her paints or mess it up. Laura is a professional painter and does commission work. Kate huffed and puffed but took her kids away from the paintings. During the dinner, everyone was praising Laura's cooking, since it's not easy to cook for 12 people, which include 3 kids, except Kate. Kate would pick at everything my girl has cooked, even though she ate it before, and her kids have no problem eating the food either and were loving the cheese bread Laura made for them. Laura stayed quiet as she believed she had something to surprise my sister with. You see, my sister has been moaning how much she wants and misses sushi rolls, since proper stuff is expensive. So Laura made some, including the type that you cover in fish roe. When the sushi rolls were served, my sister flipped. Kate started shouting how it is not fair that we are wealthier than her, and we shouldn't keep shoving it in her face, and that putting caviar on her favorite sushi was not acceptable at all, which is not true as Kate's husband is well off. Now, the sushi had colored fish roe that is normally used for the rolls, but Laura couldn't find any orange or red one, so she bought the black one. It's not real caviar, and nowhere near as expensive. I think she paid about $10 or less for the small pot. We've told Kate about that, but she wouldn't budge. As Kate caused the scene and kept insulting Laura's cooking, I asked her to leave. Kate couldn't believe what I'm saying, insisting that she has a dessert to try, but I told her I didn't want her to keep causing scenes and behaving like this, so she has to leave. She left and took her kids with her, and we carried on with the dinner, even though it was a bit awkward. Later that day, Kate called me and Laura rich a-holes, and that phone call was followed by her husband's who accused me of being insensitive, and the kids are crying because they didn't have a dessert. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, your sister is. Your girlfriend worked her butt off to make something special for your sister and her husband and kids, and your sister got super petty and mad for what? Your girlfriend having boundaries around her art? Some food that wasn't even expensive or fancy. Your sister owes everyone, including her kids, an apology for acting like a huge a-hole. I don't know what's going on with her, but it sounds like she has some issues. Not the a-hole, but I honestly think you should have a talk with her. It seems she's going through something of her own. Her reaction isn't normal. It sounds like a cry for help. Please reach out to her. I have spoken to our mother about it. From what she told me, it seems Kate got annoyed that Laura asked her to watch her kids in Laura's painting room. She seems to think there's some kind of competition between both of them, that she can't win, and her kids are the only social aspect she is ahead of us. Even she knows we don't want and can't have children. Not the a-hole, but your sister is. How old is she? 'Cause no sane adult would act like this at all. I feel bad for your girlfriend since she worked hard on the meal specially to surprise your sister with something nice, but instead, she acts this way. You guys did nothing wrong. I, 29 female, and my husband, 35 male, owed my sister, 31 female, a substantial sum of money. Our son, 5 male, has a disability, not mentioning what because it isn't relevant. Our insurance covers treatment, but there are better treatments available if you have the money. We did not. However, my sister and her husband are very wealthy, attorney in data analysis. They agreed to pay for the series of treatments, and we would pay them back interest-free over a long period of time. That loan was nearly 3 years ago. My son enjoys a higher quality of life as a result, and we made every payment until virus hit. Long story short, both lost our jobs, and we haven't made a payment since. We are both working again, but for much less money, and we weren't on great money before. My husband's grandfather died recently, and every grandchild was left $10,000. My husband wants to get a better car. Our one is junk. But I think we should try to pay my sister. This isn't even a third of what we currently owe her, and I don't know when we are going to be able to restart payments on the debt. My husband disagrees because he thinks we needed more than them. I don't disagree that we do sort of need a better car, but I feel like it's wrong to not pay someone back just because they can spare the money. My sister and her husband don't know anything about this and have not been pressuring us to restart payments. They are both just like pay us when you can. Am I the a-hole if I insist we pay my sister? Not the a-hole. However, I do wonder if you could split the money, so your husband and sister get half each. If you need a car and you're both struggling for money, it might be worth taking this opportunity to sort it now, before it's an emergency situation. Maybe ask your sister what she thinks. It seems like she and her husband are extremely reasonable in the loan repayment terms and understand your financial situation versus theirs. If you suddenly end up with a new car, even if used but new to you, they will surely notice and wonder how could you buy a new car when you can't make payments on the loan. That would reasonably look suspicious to even the most understanding of people. But if you ask for their input, letting them know you got this inheritance and need to decide how to use it, to either repay part of the loan or to pay for a reliable vehicle to make sure you can keep getting to work, they may be okay with you putting all or at least part of the money toward a more reliable car. They may not be, but if they aren't, you'll know and can use the money to pay them back, which would be far better than angering them by suddenly having a new car you can't explain. You're the a-hole. It's your husband's money, not yours. If your sister isn't pressuring you about it, let it go to other things first before you repay her. Edit. Please stop suggesting the car is unsafe. It's not unsafe. It's 12 years old. The air conditioner doesn't work, and it's a tiny 3-door that's hard to get our son into and out of. But its miles are low for its age, as we live in an urban area and we have properly maintained it. Yes, it's a junk car worth maybe $1,500, but it's not unsafe. My husband wants a new car because since our son was born, we haven't had a single luxury item. Between medical bills, managing his diet, healthy food is pricey, and childcare, we have very little over. I totally get why my husband wants another car. We didn't plan on life being like this, but once we pay off my sister, we can finally start saving for a house, a place where we can call our own. For those suggesting I speak with my sister, that's pointless. I know she will always tell me to keep the money. She is a very generous person. That's why I don't want to take advantage of her. Asking the opinion of a person who would give you the shirt off their back to keep you warm is manipulative, because you already know even if they would prefer to be paid back, they would never prioritize themselves over you. However, these comments have made me realize why I'm so upset at my husband. I think perhaps unintentionally, I feel he has been taking advantage of my sister and not treating this loan like a loan, but more like a favor we may repay at our leisure. If this was a credit card or owed to a bank, he would be desperate to repay it. But because it is to my sister and she is affluent, he has not been treating it appropriately. For the 2 years before virus, I made every single payment. He did not contribute once. This is a joint debt for our joint son, yet only I have paid on it. I accepted this because I earned more money, and he would use his spare money pre-virus on an occasional family outing or meal out. This is the first time he has had money he could put down on his son's medical expenses, and he wants a car when our current one is perfectly serviceable for another few years. He agrees that a new car is not necessary. To those who say it's his inheritance, you are absolutely right. However, I'm not sure I would want to be with a man who would prioritize a luxury item over paying off his son's medical bills. Me, male 31, and my girlfriend, female 24, have a great relationship. She has a son, male 6, from a previous relationship. We've been together for 5 years and lived together for 4. Her son lives with us full time. I have a great relationship with her son, and I do all the fatherly activities and support him as if he was my own, as his bio father, male 33, is a deadbeat. Bio father does not support and will probably never contribute financially towards his son. 3 years ago, I told my girlfriend that she should start saving some money for her son's future. She does not make a lot of money, so I told her she can take some money from our checking account. I pay 80%, she pays 20% into this account each month, and set this aside for his future, and hopefully when he is older, he will have 30 to 50K USD to give him a good start in life as an adult. She never did this, even though I told her many times to do so. Now, girlfriend is pregnant, and I plan to set up accounts for both her child and the one we will be having together, and put aside an equal amount of money each month that they will be given when they are ready to start their adult lives. Girlfriend thinks this was a great idea and said we would have to compensate her son for the 6 years of savings that he did not get previous to her getting pregnant with our mutual child. I said no. She had years to start saving money for him and chose not to do so. I will not be making a larger contribution to any of the kids, even if that means my bio child will have more savings when becoming an adult. Am I the a-hole for standing firm on this? As she had years to save money from our mutual account but chose not to do so. Info. We live in a country with pretty much free everything. This is important because most people don't save for their kids at all. Anything we save for the kids would be used for a down payment for a first home, or something else expensive young adults want but don't need, like an arts degree abroad. Not the a-hole. You're setting up accounts for both children where the same amount of money will be deposited. That's fair and not favoring one child over the other, which is admirable. You also gave her the option to do it for her son out of your joint bank account, and she chose not to. That's on her. Not the a-hole. When I read the title, I thought, well, that's crappy. Contribute to both children equally. You accepted stepchild as your own, so they should get equal treatment. But that's the thing. You are giving them equal treatment. You've been telling her to take some of your shared money and start saving for the stepson for years now, and she hasn't done it. Now that there's a second child on the way, you have taken it upon yourself to do what she has been procrastinating to do. Could you have done those years ago when you told her to and saw that she wasn't going to? Probably, but you didn't, and you didn't have to. Now you are doing the same thing for both of the kids. You are giving both the kids equal treatment. Not the a-hole. I feel like people are missing the part where OP told the girlfriend to take money out of an account he contributed 80% to, and girlfriend never bothered. So, no, OP didn't do less. The kid's mom did. I really don't see how OP is at fault. Sorry. No one jumps into a relationship and sets up a savings account day of. Get the duck out. Please list to me all the step-parents who automatically start a fund for their stepkid, if even at all.